Hey there, everybody, and welcome to OutKick Bets, the show on this Thursday, the 23rd of December. Jingle all the way, Merry Christmas, ho ho ho, Happy Holidays, all of the things. It's all happening. I am your host, Kayla Canarum. Did I already say that? I don't know. Joining me over there in Alabama is my good buddy Santa, Arky Shay. Arky, how is your Thursday, friend?
Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, boys and girls. Have you been a good girl, Miss Kayla?
Always.
Then you get some winning picks today.
Okay, a quick BTS. 3 minutes before we went live here, producer Lauren asked me about my blazer, my festive Christmas blazer, which then reminded Arky that he had a Santa suit. So with 3 minutes before we went live, he runs off camera and comes back like this. Absolutely amazing.
No, I'm Santa. Who is this Arky? Sounds like a swell fella, though, with a bowl full of chili. Ho, ho, ho.
Wow, in character and everything. Well, Arky's been giving us a Christmas countdown, so Santa, can you give us the official Christmas countdown?
2 days until I come and visit all you good boys and girls.
All right. Well, Santa, I'm going to put you on the spot here because there's been a thing going around Twitter. I promise we're going to get to betting, by the way. There's been a thing going on Twitter listing top 4 Christmas movies, your favorite. So can you give us your top 4 favorite Christmas movies? Go.
Oh, well, Santa clearly loves the classics. He loves A Christmas Story because he kicks a kid in the face. He also loves A Christmas Vacation and Home Alone because who doesn't love child abuse? Ho, ho, ho.
Wait, was that 4 or 3?
Home Alone 2, more child abuse. Ho, 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 ho.
We're going to go off the rails today. All right. Well, mine are listed as Home Alone 1, Christmas Vacation 2, The Santa Claus, you're welcome, 3, and Elf 4. I'm a product of the 80s, but my childhood was the 90s, and I don't think anything beats 90s movies. So there you have it. Should we get into betting, Santa?
Why, yes, we should.
All right. We're going to start with a bet last night. Army goes 4-0 in the Armed Forces Bowl as Eli Drinkowitz picked up his first loss when coaching a bowl game and is now 8-1. Army got the win over Mizzou 24-22 on a last-second field goal. After Mizzou went for and missed a 2-point conversion that essentially would have put the game in overtime. I hate not living up to the SEC's expectations, Arky, Santa. I don't know what to call you today. This is why I don't agree with players sitting for bowl games because had Tyler Beatty played, that's a different ball game. We have a reputation to uphold here in the SEC, and we are getting judged, and I don't like that. So yes, I'm a bit salty today. The good news for Mizzou, though, is Brady Cook, who is a redshirt freshman, got his first start over Bazelak, who, by the way, announced he's transferring today. He had a promising night, going 27 of 34 for 238 yards and 1 passing touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown. So hopefully the future is bright at Mizzou. Did you watch this one, Santa? What were your thoughts?
Oh, well, okay. I'm gonna reveal it. I'm not the real Santa. No, there is a real Santa. It's just not me. I'm not the real Santa. I'm too busy talking about sports and stuff. I did watch this game, and I'll tell you, Missouri, you're really stinking it up for the conference. I got to be honest with you. Ever since the 2 first years in the SEC, when you went to back-to-back SEC championship games, got smoked in both of them, by the way. You ain't showed us much. So, and I speak for the conference. So I don't know. Maybe you should get a good basketball team or a baseball team or something, because it's all downhill.
The basketball team's not great either. I don't know if you caught the bragging rights game, but ouch. Quanzo Martin has to go. Don't get me. I'm not even. It's a rant that we don't want to hear today. So don't get me started. So flustered, can't even talk. All right, let's move on to our game of the day. Of course, that is the Thursday night game. All of these lines are according to FanDuel Sportsbook. The final Thursday night football game of the season. That makes me sad. The 49ers are 8-6, 5-2 on the road at the Titans, who are 9-5, 5-2 at home. We've got the Titans, who are looking to stay on top in the AFC South with the Colts on their heels, and the 49ers, who are just 2 back from the Rams and Cardinals in the NFC West. This is the first meeting between these two teams since 2017, where the 49ers got the win 25-23. The lines right now are favoring San Francisco at -3 with a total at 44.5. This is an interesting game, Arky. You've got San Francisco, who has been playing some pretty good football as of late, including quarterback Jimmy G now having won 6 of their last 8. They will be going up against a Titans team who are missing some key players due to COVID and injuries. And despite being 9-4, they have suffered some pretty nasty losses in the last month, dropping 3 of their last 4. So speaking of key players, they have 3 out due to COVID protocols on the Titans, one of which is guard Roger Saffold, plus a whole lot of injuries, including left tackle Taylor Lewan. Meanwhile, the 49ers have 0 players out with COVID. Pretty impressive these days. Good for them. So, Arky, with all of this in mind, how are you playing this Thursday Night Football matchup?
Tighten up, baby. I'm not going to waste time on this. I think the Titans win this thing straight up. Mike Vrabel is the best coach in this century against the spread as an underdog straight up. So he's 56% not against the spread, straight up to win the game. And it's a short favorite here is San Francisco on the road. And this is a perfect Mike Vrabel weird coaching spot. And I understand you want to jump off the Titans bandwagon because there's been no Derrick Henry. But the Titans have still, in the last 4 games, run for over 100 yards. Actually, rushed for over 200 in 2 of those games. The big difference in why the Titans are 1-3 in their last 4 games are turnovers. Tons and tons and tons of turnovers. 13 turnovers, to be exact. And including Ryan Tannehill, who's had a 4-interception game during this stretch. The Titans, who should have won in Pittsburgh last week, if not for 4 turnovers of their own. There have been 7 fumbles during this last 4-game stretch. 7 fumbles lost by the Titans. It's madhouse. It can't continue like that. The law of averages tells us they're at least going to hold on to the ball at some point. And if they do, this is a really hard team to beat out of the Titans, noticed by some of the close scores, without the giant turnovers that are being there. Remember, this is still the same team that beat the Kansas City Chiefs, that beat the Buffalo Bills before all of this madness started happening with the loss of Derrick Henry. Beat the Rams, by the way, on the road without Derrick Henry. So this is a team that I think is super dangerous and super good at home, and I think tonight is a great night to get the Titans on the money line straight up to win. I think at FanDuel you can get it at plus 144, which is a little nice return for your buck. And this is also a nice bounce-back spot for the Titans because, again, this is still a team that can win the number 1 seed in the AFC. Let's not forget that. That's still on the table for the Titans. And if you look at the back end of the season, or the very, very end of it, there might be a Derrick Henry on the horizon to come to make this team even more dangerous going into the playoffs. This may be a cool team right now as far as temperature and how they are playing, but they are a good, solid football team. And I expect Julio Jones and A.J. Brown both to be able to play tonight. Both of them aren't confirmed, but I think that they will play also tonight, which would be a huge boost for them. So go ahead and take the Titans' money line and watch them win tonight. Like, if you can avoid some of these turnovers, you're golden. And I think they will have one of these games come back to earth where they don't throw 4 interceptions or fumble the ball 4 times in a game.
Right, shooting themselves in the foot there. Speaking of that Titans-Chiefs game, can we get a redo? Because I think that's a different game now. No, actually, be careful what you wish for, Kayla. We might.
Yeah, that's true. You will in the AFC Championship.
Oh boy. I'm already nervous. My palms are sweating. All right, well, as for this game for me, on paper, these two teams could not be more neck and neck in points per game, points allowed, and total yards per game. I mentioned how Jimmy G has stepped up his game, having now joined the 3,000 yards club at over 3,100 and 18 touchdowns on the season. Not only that, but his rating of 107.4 is second best to only Aaron Rodgers over the past 8 weeks. On the flip side, Ryan Tannehill is also at over 3,100 yards and 14 touchdowns, but a few mistakes, as you mentioned. Both teams have hot rushing offenses as the Titans are 4th in the league and the Niners sit at 7th, which should put both defenses to the test. Speaking of defense, Nick Bosa, you may have heard of him, has had a heck of a season. He has now recorded sacks in 6 straight games, putting him at 15 on the season. The 49ers are 7-7 against the spread this season, while the Titans are 8-6, but are 5-1 against the spread when going in as the 3-point dog. So I like that stat for what I'm picking today. San Fran has seen this total of 44.5 and 10 out of their 14 games this year, while Tennessee has gone over this total in 9 games. So with that, I think I'm going to take the Titans here at +3. I just think being at home is huge. Both teams have that motivation as we look to the playoffs. They're both trying to get that top spot. So I realize the 49ers are the hotter team and the healthier team right now, but I'll take my chances on Tennessee and hope for a close game. And believe me, for the sake of the Chiefs, I absolutely don't want them to win, but I feel like they will, or at least play it close. So give me the Titans in this one. Right there with you, pal.
Let's not forget the San Francisco team is one we thought about 6 weeks ago. What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
That's still in them. You know, Jimmy G is still in that guy. And if they can be stopped by rushing the ball, which is their big strong suit, the Titans can do that, and it can make it tough for them.
Yeah, this was a team who, what was that? Time flies when you're having fun. Over a month ago, hadn't won a home game when they had the Rams come to town. So,
right.
I don't know. Just have more faith in the Titans tonight. We'll see. Let's head over to our spotlight matchup. We are looking to some college football bowl action. The Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl, live from Tampa, Florida, and the Buccaneers home at Raymond James Stadium, where the UFC Knights, who are 8-4, will face the Florida Gators, who are 6-6. Right now, Florida is the favorite at -7 with a total of 55.5. This is just the third meeting between these two teams ever, where the Gators are 2-0, the last one coming in 2006 in a 42-0 shutout. But does that change tonight? Both teams are coming into this bowl game with wins during rivalry weekend. The Knights won 5 of their last 6, including their last one over USF 17-13, while the Gators have dropped 4 of their last 6 games of the season, but did finish on a high note, taking down their neighbors FSU 24-21. Florida will, of course, be led tonight by interim coach Greg Knox after the Gators, as we know, gave Dan Mullen the axe after their loss to Mizzou back in November. While this will be Gus Malzahn's first bowl game with UCF, which is still weird to say to me. So, Arky, what in the world do we make of this one tonight?
Oh, this game is actually a few years early, to be honest with you. Remember when UCF was going back-to-back seasons undefeated and not getting any real respect when it came to the college football playoff?
What were they, the unofficial national champions?
They're listed in the NCAA record book as an official national champion for, I think, the 2017 season. So that's... Now, that was basically voted on by people who you and I voted on, let's be honest with you. But again, it counts. It counts because the computer formula that the NCAA loves counted. Regardless, when that was happening, everyone said UCF doesn't play anybody. So UCF said, fine, let's play Florida. And Florida for years was saying, no, not interested in this. Until this last July, in which they signed a 2-for-1 deal that'll start in a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Now we get it early, right? And it is a much worse position than Florida wants to be in than when maybe they signed this up thinking that they would be in when they started playing in 2023. So here's what's fascinating to me about this game. If you bet any of your money on the Florida Gators this season to cover the spread, you're out of your minds. You are just wacko. They are 3-9 against the spread. They've had two semi-quality covers. One was late against Florida and against Tennessee, and the other one was against Alabama. And that one seems like a decade ago. You can't trust this team. They're not as deep athletically as you think they are. They're sort of resting on the laurels of the name of Florida. I mean, they're not even able to shut down teams like Samford. They're coming into the swamp. They are not a great mentally and physically prepared team right now. While UCF, they're 4-8 against the spread. It's not much better, but the motivation is hardcore on the Golden Knights right now, and I love the spot that they're in right now. Gus Malzahn may not be a great big game coach. He may not been great to be able to get all of the wins when he was at Auburn, but what he is, when he's super motivated and the team's really into a game and they need it, like many Iron Bowls before, he coaches a hell of a game sometimes. And I think Gus Malzahn and this UCF team want this game bad. And bowl games are all about motivation. And UCF is super motivated with a pretty good head coach that's going to be super motivated to give them a good game plan and to be able to coach up against Florida. So you already hear where I'm leaning right now. I'm taking UCF, not the +7. Give me the straight money line, Holmes. I think UCF wins this game outright. I think that they are much more excited to be able to be playing in this game. While Florida's, they're waiting for Billy Napier to start coaching them, for crying out loud. They're waiting for next year. They're not ready for this game, and they better be, because UCF's going to try to punch them in the face hard and fast. And I wouldn't be surprised if Gus Malzahn had a trick play or two early in this game. So give me UCF money line straight up. The dogs barking tonight.
Wow. I love that Santa uses the word homes.
Homes!
Did it-
Homes!
You said if you take Florida in this one, you've lost your mind, which apparently I have, because here's how I'm looking at it. Both UCF and Florida are averaging around the same amount of points per game at 32 and 31 respectively. They are also nearly identical in points allowed at 25 and 26. When it comes to yards per game, Florida is the leader here at 470, while UCF is almost at 400. UCF is 4-8 against the spread this season, while the Gators, as you mentioned, Arky, have failed to cover in 6 straight games and are 0-5 against the spread on the road. And yes, technically this is a road game. The only ranked team the Knights faced all season was number 3 Cincinnati, in which they took the L 56-21. The remaining 3 losses came to Louisville, Navy, and SMU. I can't give the Gators a ton of credit either, but I'm going to give them a little credit because 2 of their 6 losses were against the top 2 schools in college football, that of course being Bama and Georgia, and their other 4 losses were on the road, also against fellow SEC opponents. So, Arky, with that said, I'm going to take a chance here and take Florida at -7. Not only that, but UCF is 3-18 against SEC schools all time. The Gators have gone over this total in 5 of their 12 games, while the Knights have done it in 8. So I'm going to stay clear of the total, but I would lean the under. But yes, I will be taking the Gators -7. Spoiler alert, if there is an SEC school in a bowl game, chances are I'm betting them. Look how well that turned out last night. I know, I'm one of those people.
First SEC team in, first SEC team knocked out.
I mean, but yeah, I just think the strength of schedule is going to help a little. But no, the Gators did not have a great season, so this is kind of a toss-up. I'm taking a chance on this one. I know that.
Yeah, you are. God bless you. Literally, God. I hope you be blessed and your money be blessed because Florida will not bless it for you.
Thank you. If Santa's helping me, then that adds a little extra something.
Well,
all
Mrs.
right.
Claus helps too.
Yes. Moving on to our quick hitters of the day. Arky, what are you looking to in your quick hitter?
The Frisco Football Classic, also known as...
Let's go.
Wait, Frisco gets another game? So Frisco just literally had a game like 72 hours ago, it felt like. And now they get another bowl game as the shabbily put together other Frisco game that was just put together, I think, like 2 weeks ago. Gets North Texas taking on the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. And this game is fascinating for one reason for me and one reason only, and that's to be able to watch another MAC team lose in a bowl game. The MAC teams are terrible for whatever reason in the bowl games. It's been semi-traditional for them, but they're 0-4 to start this season in bowl games, and I don't think it gets going any better against North Texas. North Texas is a much better team than people probably paid attention to this entire season. North Texas has surprised me a lot, and North Texas, I think, is going to surprise some people as they're the 2.5-point dogs in this game again in lovely wherever FC Dallas plays. So I am excited for this game because it's this afternoon's game, right? It's the first football game we get to watch today, so I will be fully invested in this game. I think North Texas wins this thing outright again. Another underdog that I think is going to be able to win. And the underdogs have been doing really, really, really well. Missouri covered, by the way. You even though that they lost, you're probably not happy about that, but they did cover the 6.5 last night. The underdogs, again, it's all about motivation and who steps up to the plate when you get these extra 15 practices. And I think North Texas is motivated. North Texas had to go on a big winning streak at the end of the season to be able to get to a bowl game. They're the hot team right now. And I want to make sure I get his name right. DeAndre Torrey is the guy I want you to pay attention to tonight. He's a 5'7" running back for North Texas who's got over 1,400 rushing yards. He's got 14 touchdowns on the season. And he's a little guy. He's an itty-bitty guy. He's 5'7", 190 pounds. Like, he's a itty-bitty fast guy who's got an all-freshman offensive lineman in front of him and another couple of good guys on the right side that are going to be great, I think, today. So North Texas, I don't think, is getting a lot of love because people aren't paying attention enough to North Texas. And North Texas has sort of always been this team from Denton that no one wants to sort of give any kind of respect to, except for me here today. So give me North Texas money line. What did FanDuel have them at? Plus 116. So it's not a huge upset if it happens, but I do think they win this game. I mean, North Texas, they're 9-3 against the spread, for crying out loud. Like, they're a competitive, good football team. So give me North Texas, straight up win. More dogs barking on the show here today.
By the way, I used your dog stat from bowl games over the weekend in the, what was it, the UTSA SDSU game. It didn't hit, but I used it anyway.
Yeah, San Diego State, they definitely were motivated after losing the Mountain West Championship hardcore. So they good win for them.
But I like it. I like that you're taking the dogs. I'm all about it. All right, my quick hitter is going to be in the NFL, one of two Christmas Day games. Arky, I know you touched on this game earlier in the week on Monday's show, but I'm going to revisit it because I think / hope it'll be a good one. The Colts, who are 8-6, 4-2 on the road, will take on the Arizona Cardinals, who are 10-4, 3-3 at home. By the way, weren't the Cardinals the ones who hadn't won a home game, like at the beginning of the season? They were 0-3 at home or something?
Well, yeah, up until a couple of weeks ago, their only losses were at home.
Yes.
Right? They had won, up until they lost to Detroit, they'd been undefeated on the road, so yeah.
All right, yeah, I thought that was the case. So Arizona, obviously doing better at home now. Sitting atop the NFC West with the Rams, while the Colts are second in the AFC South, one game behind the Titans. Right now, Arizona is the 1.5-point favorite with the total of 48.5. Alrighty. Well, first off, the Cardinals have only one player in COVID protocols right now, and the Colts have just two, so how great for them. As for the game, the Colts certainly feel like the hotter team right now and are very tempting for me to take as the Dogs, having now won 5 of their last 6, including their last game over the Patriots last weekend, and with putting an end to the Patriots' 7-game win streak, so that was kind of impressive. Arizona, on the other hand, has split their last 6, going 3-3, and are coming off back-to-back losses, their most recent being against the Lions, 30-12. So yes, the Cardinals have lost my trust a bit, but maybe this week they can turn it around. One of the bigger challenges in this game will be trying to slow down Indy's offensive weapon, that is Jonathan Taylor, who ranks first in carries at 270, first in yards at over 1,500, and in touchdowns at 17. The good news for the Cardinals is they rank 9th in DVOA against the run this season. Both quarterbacks are having the same season numbers-wise. However, in their last game with the Patriots, Wentz was just 5 of 12 for 57 yards and 1 touchdown. He will have to step it up going against Kyler Murray on Saturday. Indy is 9-5 against the spread this year, and the Cardinals are also 9-5. The Colts, by the way, are 5-3 against the spread when going in as the 1-point dog. So I do like that. Arizona has hit this total of 49.5 in 7 games this year, and the Colts have done it in 6. This game, in my opinion, Arky, is one of the harder ones that we had to bet on all season. I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to take a chance on the Colts here at plus 1.5, even though that spread is so close. I don't love it. I know the Cardinals are due for a win, plus they are at home, but as we know, that doesn't really matter for them. As far as the total, I would lean the over, but I won't be playing it. So I'm just going to take the Colts plus 1.5.
Yeah, I can see this. Like in the NFL, the big thing to worry about and to pay attention to when you're betting is the number and the spot of the game. And this is a spot where you get a big emotional hangover possibly from Indianapolis after not only getting this winning streak going, but beating Indianapolis for the first time in 9 tries. And then you got Arizona, who was feeling really good about themselves and now they got back-to-back losses, including one on the road to Detroit. So maybe this looks like a good bounce-back spot for Arizona, and maybe a good spot for an emotional down spot for Indianapolis. But I mean, I could see Indianapolis winning this, especially since they were able to win without Carson Wentz being any good last week. So,
right.
Yeah.
This game could go either way. Toss up.
Yeah, I guess it's tough. It is a tough one. All
right. And finally for today, let's head to our games to look out for. Arky, what are you looking ahead to?
More nipple action in FL as the Chargers are taking on the Texans. The Chargers are a 10-point favorite right now. Total 45.5. Don't even worry about the 45.5. You want the Chargers all day long. The Texans are, in a word, still, even after last week and the week before, miserable. Miserable. And for some reason, that win last week for Houston makes you feel anywhere near good for them. Guess what? It's time for the bounce back to reality spot for the Houston Texans. So I am a big fan of the Chargers going into Houston and laying it on them and laying them on them big. We've seen a bunch of 2 and 3 touchdown scores this season. It feels like more than normal that we've sort of seen. This is going to be another one. There's a big difference between the talent level and the coaching level between the Chargers, who are coming off a loss that they probably felt like they should have won, and the Texans, who are probably just stoked that they won a game in division against the Jaguars where, everyone thought the Jaguars were going to figure it out, myself included. So, by the way, this is why you never put good money after bad teams. So thanks, a lot, Jaguars. So anyway, so I'm telling you, I'm taking the Chargers right now, -10. Everybody can have COVID on that team, and they're still going to win by 2 touchdowns.
All right. I like it, yes. Chargers definitely looking to bounce back after that. OTL. All right. I am also looking to the NFL. Surprising no one. I'm looking towards the Chiefs and Steelers game. The Chiefs obviously said it.
Oh, shocking!
I know. I can't quit them. The Chiefs obviously sit atop the AFC West and AFC as a whole, controlling their own destiny from here on out, while the Steelers are third in the AFC North behind the Bengals and Ravens. Steelers are 7-6-1, 2-4 on the road, while the Chiefs are 10-4, 6-2 at home. The Chiefs -7.5 right now as it stands with a total at 44. Well, it's the Chiefs' turn to have COVID this week, but all I've got to say is it's good to know that even after being hit this hard, we are still favored by 7.5. That feels encouraging. However, while there weren't any new positive tests yesterday or today, that doesn't mean that we're out of the woods yet. So far on the list, we've got 12 players in protocol, some of which include Arky, Travis Kelce, Dagger, Tyreek Hill, Dagger, Harrison Butker, Dagger, among others. Chris Jones, who missed the Chargers game, will hopefully be returning, but he's still listed as out for right now. The good news, though, is we will be getting back Willie Gay Jr. and Josh Gordon, who were both seen practicing yesterday, meaning that they will be returning to the Chiefs roster along with L'Jarius Sneed, who is out due to personal reasons. So glad to have those guys back. There are also rumors floating around that this game could possibly get bumped to Tuesday, and I think it should. But when asked about it yesterday, head coach Andy Reid said that there had been no conversation surrounding moving the game as of now. So breaking this one down, Mahomes is obviously coming off that monster game over the Chargers where he had over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. You know who else had monster games? Kelce and Hill, who had really back for this game on Sunday. Big Ben is 12th in yards at over 3,200 and tied for 12th in touchdowns at 17. Bless him. In the Steelers' win over the Titans last weekend, he didn't have any touchdown passes and went for just 148 yards, but he did pick up his first rushing touchdown in 3 years. Good for Ben. TJ Watt absolutely scares me in the Steelers. On the Steelers side of the ball, the Steelers are 6-1 in games. Watt has more than 1 sack. So far this season, he is sitting at 17.5. The good news for the Chiefs is that Pittsburgh is last in the league, giving up more rush yards per carry than any other defense. It's no secret the Chiefs defense has become electric in the last month, but their biggest issue right now remains stopping the opponent's running game. And speaking of the running game, the Chiefs have more of the solid run game in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who averages 4.5 yards per carry, compared to the Steelers' counterpart in Najee Harris, who on paper has the bigger numbers but only averages 3.6 yards per carry. And in the Steelers' last game, had 12 carries for just 18 yards. What in the world? As for trends, KC is 7-7 against the spread. The Steelers are 6-8. KC has exceeded the total of this total in 8 of 14 games, and Pittsburgh has done it in 5. I don't know, Arky, what my record is when taking the Chiefs at this point. I don't think I want to know because I don't want to jinx anything. This game once again makes me nervous. Every game's going to make me nervous from here on out. The Chiefs can absolutely not let their foot off the gas, especially when they are missing 2 of our most lethal offensive weapons. Not to mention, both teams have a lot riding on this one, so don't underestimate the motivation that the Steelers will also be bringing into this game Sunday afternoon. With all of this said, I will be looking to continue my streak with the Chiefs and will be taking them at -7 at Arrowhead, but will most likely be watching this game through my fingers like this. So scared. And for what it's worth, I'm going to stay clear of the total in this one. Feel free to judge me and go.
It's hard to judge since it's been so hot, right? You've been white hot. I've been seeing the picks online. You are killing the game, so far be it from me to go against a hot hand like you got right now, 2K. So I won't go against you.
All right. Okay. Patrick's going to step it up knowing he's got Kelce and Hill out. I think the offense steps it up. We utilize a little more weapons there, so fingers crossed. Let's look at our overview of what we had our picks on today. Starting with Thursday Night Football, Arky is taking the Titans money line at +144. I'm taking the Titans at +3. And our spotlight matchup, Arky is taking UCF money line +225. I am taking Florida at -7. God help me. And our quick hitters, Arky is taking North Texas money line at +116. Loving the dogs today. I'm taking the Colts at +1.5. And for our games to look out for, Arky is taking the Chargers -10, and I am taking the Chiefs -7.5. And that is going to do it for our show today. Arky, our last one before the new year.
Oh, ho, ho. May you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And to all those watching who have put up with Santa Claus today.
I'm so happy Santa came back for the last part of the show. All right.
Me too.
That is Arky Shea. I am Kayla Canarum. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, don't forget to make your picks at FanDuel.com/OutKick. Best of luck in your betting, friends. Have a safe and happy holiday, and we will see you all in the new year. Have a good one.